This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, it is being recorded. Fantastic. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Tanya Gonzalez Ortega, and this is the beautiful Heather Derigo. And as some of you guys might be aware, in my Facebook group, New Earth Consciousness, I put out a post and I just said, hey, who wants to be interviewed and share their gifts and just have a fun conversation around the idea of the new earth and awakening and uplifting humanity and supporting earth and all of that really good positive stuff. And Heather raised her hand, and I went to her page and I was like, yeah, perfect. And so Heather is a multi-passionate individual. She's a drummer, she's an artist, she does many things. And so I just wanted to welcome you, Heather.
Thank you so much, Tanya. This is my honor to be here and have this conversation with you. I feel very grateful to have this platform to be able to talk with you, and so much, I think, great little pieces of wisdom will be shared and hopefully benefit so many people who are watching.
Yeah. So this is just going to be an organic conversation, and it'll just go where it wants to go. But you and I, before we got on this recording, I could tell that you had a lot to share about being a multi-passionate person. And maybe if you could share, all the different things that you're passionate about and how you lead yourself through life with that as being a part of, I would say, your identity, right?
Yeah. I think that's such a great way to start, because I think for a lot of us who have become adults, and I'm going to say especially women, because many women have gone through motherhood, which is an identity in itself, which, when I say identity means we tend to pull ourselves into motherhood and we are mom for a period of our lives, at least some very heavily, and we're always going to be mother. But that part of our lives has never been really, in the global sense of the word, as a thing of an identity in a bigger way. In other words, it's a position we hold that is very honorable, but it's not really a identity. In other words, you wouldn't see that on a resume.
And
which is, interesting. It's just interesting to note that we don't really, as a society, see that as something that we would say is experience of value,
right.
Which I have always looked at that and thought, that's very odd that our society doesn't view that way, right? Because
right.
that has brought so much richness and so much experience to who I've become. And it's been such a huge and integral part of my life, as most women who are loving mothers, right? So that, just aside, is a big chunk of my life in general. And I would assume it's a big chunk of many women's lives, especially those women who are on the path of conscious parenting, and you're devotional towards raising your children in ways. So it takes a lot of time and energy and attention. And we all know those are all reflections of ourselves. Big chunk of that. Other aspects of my life, which are also my passions, have been in the arts and music primarily for me. All arts, all forms of art. I remember being immersed in the arts as a little child. So dance, playing instruments, singing, acting, all kinds of improvisational forms of expression. And that has been something that I feel so grateful for, my childhood experience. And as I grew up and I did different things, I became a mother, in my mid-20s, and, took a long path of just being homemaker and mother. So I wasn't doing any work outside of the home. Although I had lots of passions, I was raising my children and creating a home that was beautiful and happy and nurturing for my family. And lots of soul evolution happened. And then I, moved into more relationship in my life that took me on another path of doing the same thing for another 10, 12 years of my life. I'm sure many women can relate, but this kind of shifting with spending most of my time as homemaker and wife and mother, I wasn't doing these passions out into the world. Mostly I was just doing it for myself and a little bit here. And then as I speak of my relationships, I speak of them in a holistic sense, because I never want to say any negative connotation to a relationship ending. There was a time in my life where I used to believe that, but when that happens, I see that now in the whole self as a wonderful gift. And so when that relationship ended, where I spent 2 long-term relationships, I had to reevaluate, who am I? What are my gifts? What is it that I wish to serve with? And I had to kind of re-examine who I was. And at this stage in my life, it was a big awakening and a huge opportunity to really see, what is it that I love to do? And so I saw so many things. And since I've been little, I've explored many, many different, in between jobs type of things, and part-time work as I was, being mother and homemaker. I still took on part-time positions, but it was never anything solid that you could put on a resume, really. So time in my life gave me a huge reflection on that, and how important it is to really let go of the identities that we hold about who we are based on labels and based on what society has deemed of value only, right? And outside of that, it's not just motherhood, but there are plenty of other things too that people do in their life that really have contributed to the value of who they are and what they can add in service to whatever it is that they're choosing to channel that energy towards, that aren't in the typical realms of like your work experience and what you've been paid for and all of these things. And it has in many ways, but it's not the only thing. That's all. It's not the only way. And that's why, for me, in my experience now, I'm so happy to share this idea, because I know there are many women like myself who have been in that position, who have done many different things, but wouldn't identify as just one or the other. And also have spent a good chunk of their life as mother, and that not being addressed as something that is of equal value in regards to the other work experience.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm glad to bring that up, because I know with my personal friends in my inner circle, we've discussed this many times, and thought, wow, one day that whole concept will shift.
Yeah.
And people will be looking at that very differently.
Yeah. It has to. I mean, in my training as a Waldorf teacher, there's this one book that's amazing. It's called The Spiritual Task of the Homemaker. And it's this little tiny book, and really looks at the homemaker slash mother. It's usually the mother that's doing that type of work. That it's a priestesshood or priesthood, where that's where culture is born, is in the home. It's in the family. The family itself is the nucleus of culture. And so I feel like, and I really resonate with what you say, because I too became a mother in my late 20s, and also was very much into art and music and anything to do with the arts, creative. And then, becoming a mother and realizing, okay, well, that's my focus. And I spent many, many years building my life around that. And really noticing how it isn't recognized, like you said, or valued. Being a mother, I went into, childcare, working with small children. It's such valuable work, but it's not valued monetarily speaking. Very, it's not something that people go in to be financially successful, right? Like,
Right.
but it's this sacred service. And I do think it's when I tune in and tap into the concept of the new earth, that is what we need to return to and embrace and celebrate and, all of that. And so I guess I'm just really curious, like my question to you is if you have any advice, as I know that for myself, it was no question to me that I wanted to pursue art and other things like energy healing, art, music, uh, even teaching and education. What can you say to women as far as going through motherhood, and maybe they're getting to that time when, okay, the children are leaving the nest, or maybe they're, I don't know, they're at a precipice where maybe they have not tended to these other aspects of themselves. Like what kind of advice or insight could you share about that?
Sure. Well, one thing I can share that I'm in this place of right now, which is, it's so liberating to be in the space that I'm in now, which is a new space where I'm completely feeling at peace with all that I can do and all that I wish to explore, and still keeping an open space for more. As a mother, you're never ever done, as we all know. And I've been through the experience of having two children that are already out of the nest, you could say, and one still who's at home still with me in the nest still. So I've kind of experienced both, and I feel really blessed by that, because all of these experiences are really helping me to become even a better mother at this stage, as a parent, as an example. I'm completely transparent as I'm continually evolving, and he's watching that. So this shift in myself is giving me space to trust the divine to unfold in me. And it's very simple for me now. And I say simple after being through many, many, you could say, battles with the status quo and having to achieve, and the fear of making sure I've got this coming in and that coming in, and what do I choose, and the whole linear thought pattern that happens about you got to do one thing and another thing, and all of that I've simply gently set aside. And my GPS now is just follow my excitement in the moment, follow what lights me up in the moment, as mundane as it seems, that I know that will lead, which is governed by my higher self, to lead to the next thing, as something that may not even seem relevant, but always has a design, always has a purpose, to lead into the next thing, where maybe you're going to meet somebody that's going to connect you with this thing or that. And I've learned to just sit back, relax, and trust as I continue to take physical action on the things that light me up, without expectation of how it should unfold or what will unfold. And that simple formula has given me so much freedom. And so I know that I'm taking action on the things that light me up, and I'm feeling satisfied by those things. And the abundance is flowing with that naturally in its own way. And I don't have to put any kind of judgment or expectation of what it should be like. And as long as I remember, and that's the practice, because I'm still practicing it, it's a constant practice to remember to stay right here, present moment. If you have a given set of choices of what excites you the most within the realm that you can,
right,
on the thing that excites you the most. Maybe you could go for a walk. Maybe you could call your friend. Maybe you could go to the beach. Maybe you could do the dishes. Maybe that would excite you to finish it, right? Yes, you're excited about doing mundane things. And that feeling of having an accomplishment of it might direct you to the thing that happens next. And we all know that there's this integral weave of all these things that are happening that creates the fabric of our reality that we experience. And so it's always being directed. And so that is your higher self speaking to you, which is your excitement, what lights you up. That is what I'm following now. And when I remember, I keep reminding myself to remember to stay with that and stay present. And that's been so liberating. And I would encourage all women who are in that position, who are unsure right now about where it's going, to just trust in that. Trust in the universe to support you that way, because you are the universe.
Yeah, I love that so much. I'm just letting that resonate because I feel like it seems to me like one of the things in order to really, trust your passion and let it be, it seems like, at least I've experienced, that what can come up obviously is like those programs, those negative programs that come up and say, what are you doing? What are you thinking? Where is this going to lead you? Do you have this planned out and figured out? And then we get stuck in the mind, right? We get stuck in the mind, and then the fear and the worry and then overwhelm all comes crashing in. Yeah.
It's a big shift, because this mindset in the old paradigm of living is what got us trapped in the matrix, in the programming of the mindset of earning, right? And linear thinking about, I need to find something, I need to make it happen. These concepts. And when we drop back down into the heart and we allow the higher self to understand that this is not an earning thing, we're shifting from earning to receiving. And we're shifting from making it happen to allowing it to happen. And when we understand that it's the combination of the masculine and feminine energy merging, because we're still taking action. We're not sitting on the couch just twiddling our thumbs, ungrounded, just going, it's going to happen, whatever it happen.
Right.
But we're taking action, but we're allowing it to happen in the higher self way. In other words, our own mindset is not really capable of perceiving all of the ways in which the universe will provide for us. We actually limit ourselves when we set expectations for ourselves, like, I'm going to go out there and look for a job, right? We're shifting from job mentality to position of service. And when you shift to position of service, then all of it's flowing to you already. We just have to align with the flow. And so it's a different paradigm of thought completely from the old paradigm, which was, I'm going to go out there and find something to make it happen, and we're going to make some money.
Yeah.
It's a whole different thought. So yeah, that transition is a little challenging. It could take some time. It could, depending on how resistant we are to letting go. But once we settle in this place, there's this overwhelming amount of peace, freedom, and liberation. And it's miraculous to watch how the universe rushes in to support you. When you just think like, wow, I have nothing under my feet and I'm going to go for it. I'm going to trust. And boom, something comes out of nowhere and it just supports you as you're stepping. Yeah. And this has been my experience as of recent. And I'm so happy to share that because it's so exhilarating.
Oh my gosh. I know. It was really interesting. I totally resonate with everything that you say. I think that, when we have an idea or an inspiration and we want to create something, don't know how it's going to unfold, right? I know that for myself, I have felt like, and it has also too been recent. So I wonder if, all of, the divine feminine is kind of what I'm hearing, is the divine feminine rushing in to really be experienced. And when you realize, we get to a place where you realize, worry and fear doesn't ever help with anything ever. Mm-hmm. You can only do what you can do. Most of it is out of your control. And so if you are in alignment with your heart and you are giving from your highest, right? Really, like, just pure, me, it just feels like pure love. Like, I am giving pure love out to those around me in my service. And lately I've been just feeling this just piece of it, and it is a mental shift. It is something clicks, and it's just like, just trust, and stop trying to figure out how it's all. I think that's really the key piece about being that divine feminine flow, is to really let go of what you think is going to be coming around the corner, or what's going to be showing, right, in response to what it is putting out,
Yeah. And what you said is the bomb right there, because it's stepping into this place of allowing, because we try to say we know best for ourselves, we in the monkey mind human form, right? But we are not able to see the higher perspective from the highest self that we are. And so when we step back, the masculine aspect of this, the energy output, the taking action part, grounding it into this physical experience on earth, this earth experience, is that part. That's our part. We must take that part. We can't sit back and just say allow and not actually take action on it, because then it will not manifest in this reality. We must ground it here. So that's a really important part too, that I didn't quite get for a long time in my life. But I started to understand how important that aspect of grounding is, right? The visionary is important, but grounding it by taking that phone call, saying, I'm going to stop in and talk to that person. Why? I don't know. I feel guided to stop in there, and allow that explosion of ecstatic synchronicities in your life that will start showing up. These are indicators to you, because synchronicity is the organizing principle to everything in your life. And when you start to see these ecstatic explosions of synchronicities, you are in alignment. And that is where you know you can trust the unfolding of everything. There are no accidents, and everything has a purpose and a design. And the more present, more aware, more conscious we become, we raise our vibration. We're more in tune by hearing those inspirations also that will tell us, go in there, go talk to that person. I don't know that person. Go and make a phone call, send that letter. And so I've been seeing this act of, in the moment, taking action, as crazy as it may sound, and going, all right, I'm going to write this person a message. All right, I'm going to tell that person I would like to share some things. All right, I'm going to go over there and I'm going to walk into this place, and I'm not sure why, but I'm feeling guided to go in there. And that allows your intuition to take a front seat. And when you start to trust that, you're connected directly to the divine, because you've plugged yourself in intentionally. And that allows for all the communication to be flowing to you, because you're ready to receive it. It's always flowing, but we just don't pick up the phone a lot of the time. And so that aspect is saying, I'm voting for that. And I want to plug myself in to be able to receive the inspiration so I can hear them clearly. And then you'll hear more and more and more. And that's the acceleration that happens when you plug yourself in. It's kind of like the vortex of energy that is spiraling upward and downward, like in a drain, where the momentum keeps going until you just go down. You just allow yourself to get into it, the flow, and you'll just be taken there.
Right.
So, yeah.
Allowing. Yeah. It's really, really beautiful. So I'm curious, so is there anything more that you want to share with people who are watching here? Do you have like a website, or are you have offerings? I mean, yeah.
Absolutely, I'd love to. So some of the things that I'm passionate about are in the music and arts. I love to work with children. I love to work with adults as well. The healing arts. I'm a percussionist and drummer, so I love to play music. This is just a passion of mine. I don't do it in the same facet that I used to, as I don't really like to play the bar scene anymore as a musician. So I've kind of removed myself from that, but said yes to other forms of devotional music or other forms of music that allow me to be creative in, that I feel really good in. So if it's a festival, happy setting, I will play as a percussionist for that. And I absolutely enjoy it and welcome all other opportunities. And as a teacher or instructor in regards to music, I love being able to share my knowledge in rhythm to share with those who would like to learn how to play drums, drum set, or percussion instruments if they want to learn how to play djembe or cajon. I have techniques and rhythms I can share with you, as well as for children. So I do group classes. Adults can have private lessons. As a drum circle facilitator, that's another aspect of rhythm, which I've come to love. And this allows for me to share the power of rhythm as a healing modality and also as a major tool for transformation. So I can offer for children or adults in private or group settings, meditational drumming. I do drum healings one-to-one, where we do a deep dive into areas of the energetic template that need balancing, and we use specific rhythms with energetic healing, so quantum touch and these kinds of things, as well as interactively. They can be playing a drum as well, and I will be giving them a specific rhythm for those unblocking of those areas. Or we can do what I call my play shops, and these play shops can be done online or in person. And these are play shops that involve using rhythm for celebration, transformation, and empowerment. So I use drum formations, I call them, and we have these affirmations mixed with drumming rhythms to help reinforce these ideas, and it really quickens and accelerates these the power of an affirmation using drumming. Wow. So it's kind of like a sacred contract with yourself, but when you're using kinetic energy with the rhythm, you set yourself into a lower state of consciousness of theta very quickly over time. And this is where the power of ancient, I call it ancient technology, which is the ancient drumming, utilizing that with the spoken word is so powerful. So I would highly encourage everyone to try that if you haven't. And it can be done with children as well, which I've seen that in my experience over 10 years being a drum circle facilitator. Many stories, but it's really something I enjoy doing. That is with rhythmrise.com. So you can check a little bit about that there, rhythmrise.com. I also have a Facebook page called Rhythm Rise. You can see a little bit more there. And as an artist, I also offer art lessons. I do art for people. I do graphic arts as well as painting and drawings. So these are all passions of mine as well. And I share my unique perspective on that. I can do visionary paintings, which I've sold different paintings in my life on. I have an art degree too, but I love to do calligraphy. I'm a professional henna artist. And these are all things on the side that I do as well. I do portraits of families in graphite renderings and make logos for people. Just about different kinds of art.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I used to do dance as well growing up and teach dance lessons. Body movement is so important for me. So I love to, I think maybe I'm gonna create a container next as my next passion to put all of these things into and offer kind of maybe a play shop immersion, perhaps. That's coming to me as an inspiration.
I love that. So good. Yeah, we need to nurture our creative sides, and I can totally see how working with drumming and affirmations, creating new neural pathways in the brain for those affirmations to come in and work with the subconscious and your energy and all of that. Super powerful. That sounds really, really amazing. And tell me again the name of the website.
The website for my drumming is rhythmrise.com.
Got it. Okay, cool. Awesome. All right. Well, Heather, thank you so much for sharing. I love the brightness of your spirit and what you're bringing. It all just feels so enlivening and enlightening and fun and playful, and something that we definitely need more of right now. Is to have those outlets and those ways to express ourselves, to ourselves as human beings. It's such an essential part of who we are, is that creativity and what connects us to one another. So Yeah. Thank you
And
so
of all these ideas of our identity as
Yeah.
one way, but to start transforming them and seeing our identity of self in a bigger and grander way, with value placed on all of those things as a collective thing within our being. So I love that idea as we're evolving into this shift of consciousness for as a collective, that we're evolving our ideas also about what our identity is and moving
Right.
outside the box and moving into more of an open sphere, if you will.
Yes, yes. We're we're always, moving and changing and discovering new aspects of it. We're not meant to just be in one line. Yeah. Amen, sister.
We agree.
Awesome. This has been really, really fun.
Yeah, and thank you.
And I'll be posting this on my Facebook page, and you can then share and however you want to. So wonderful.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Tanya.
You're welcome.
To you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.